Hi everyone, and welcome to the Virgo June 2022 Illumination reading. This is I Am Illuminated Tarot, a place for you to better connect with and illuminate your own personal spiritual importance. And what does that mean? That means that in this reading we are going to be taking a look at a challenge that Spirit is asking you to face this month, that in the facing and overcoming of it, you will engage with your unique spirit, that part of ourselves that comes out and rises to the occasion when we are forced to face something that challenges us. And this is also that you can better understand your own heroic capabilities that lie within you, which allow you to really be able to better see your path, your purpose, and to really feel those feelings of emotional fulfillment from being able to utilize those heroic capabilities. So Virgo, as I'm about to pull the cards here, I do want to say I apologize for how late the posting of this video is. I know we're almost into July, but I didn't want to not have a video for you this month. I had family coming into town, and unfortunately that took precedence. But as a apology and a thank you for being so patient, I have included the extended for free in this video. So if you can watch the original video, which is going to be about 30 minutes long, what will follow directly after that is the extended, which we will pull clarifiers for the main cards, we'll pull cards for love, and then a final card for your overarching spiritual lesson for the month. So let's jump right in here. I also want to say thank you for everyone who's returning. Thank you so much for your continued support of my channel. And for all of those of you who are new, thank you so much for watching. Okay, so let's go ahead. I'm going to finish pulling the initial set of cards here, and then we'll jump right in. So Virgo, what's coming up for you internally is Death and the Nine of Cups. Ooh, okay. And for your external energy, we have, oh, interesting, beautiful Knight of Cups and Knight of Pentacles. The Knight of Pentacles, for those of you who don't know, that's your card, Virgo, in the tarot, one of your cards in the tarot. But this is a beautiful building energy in your external environment. Okay, and then for the main spiritual lesson that you're learning this month, this is all about the emotional side to your experience. So this is a part of yourself that you're focusing on, and it's really where the challenge is going to lie. Now, with Death and the Nine of Cups coming in here, this is the death of a wish, of a heart's dream, a heart's desire. And there's something here about coming in with the realization that you're having to let something go, or that something, a dream of yours did not manifest, and you're having to come in to release that. Now, although this can be very difficult energy, the beauty of this is that in our external environment, you guys have Knight of Cups and Knight of Pentacles, and the Knights are about forward progressive energy. The Knight of Cups is the hopeful romantic, and the Knight of Pentacles is the long-term planner. He's the one that has the long-term vision and has the ability, the steady and kind of well thought out step-by-step plan for how to manifest something. And what you're being asked to really engage with here is starting again, getting back to the original cup, which is what the Knight of Cups holds here. The original cup that we each have, the Ace of Cups, that is our connection to unconditional love from the divine, that we get to share. It's a cup that actually is filled with all of our unique hopes, dreams, needs, wants. And even though something may have not come out the way that you had originally hoped for, there is this push to go out and do it again, but do it again with an eye this time with optimism and that kind of hopeful romantic embodiment, but with an eye for a long-term goal. And why are you being asked to really kind of face this, to face the release of a dream of yours or something that you had spent so much time and energy emotionally investing in? Is because you're learning about the Two of Cups for yourself, which is how you connect on an equal partnership level with others, how you vulnerably bring what's in your cup equally to be shared with others. And underneath the Two of Cups, we have the Six of Wands and the Four of Wands. And the Six of Wands is a card of victory. This is a card that represents the Leo energy in the tarot. It's one of the kind of the homecoming hero. And it's one of really being seen, being recognized for the actions we have taken. And with Four of Wands, this is a card of celebration. It's a card of a foundation that you've created from taking action from a place of passion. It can even represent marriage. It can represent the beautiful celebration of bringing two people together. And this is actually very beautiful energy to have underlying the Two of Cups, that there's something here about the remembrance of remembering a foundation that you had built, that you had wanted. And it's interesting. It's almost like this was your greatest achievement for some of you, with the Six of Wands coming up so prominently, that there's an element here of wanting to connect emotionally and really looking back to a foundation that you had built that had been celebrated by others, that had been a great achievement for yourself in that moment. And again, being able to go back to this place of intimate, equal partnership and connection. And so there's something here for some of you, maybe that this could be the loss of a relationship and you're, just now being asked to go back out there and kind of try again. This can be the reconnection of a current relationship, or maybe something didn't manifest exactly the way that you had wanted, and being asked again to go out there with your cup, with that need, that dream, and try again. It's not that we give up on the dream. It's that sometimes it doesn't manifest quite the way that we wanted. And so we have to kind of let it go to allow that energy to be transformed. And that could be exactly what's happening here for some of you. Now, this could also be, if it's not personally, because the Two of Cups can mean also business partnerships, can mean any kind of equal partnership where we get to share something with somebody on an equal level. And this could be actually where, for some of you, maybe you had tried to create a business or tried to pursue a passion of yours that was this great kind of heart's wish. And it's saying it's time to go out there and do it again. That yes, you might have to let something go. Maybe this business is still a long-term dream of yours, but now it's time to maybe have to let go of the initially how it had looked for you, and to go out there and try again. And that's going to allow you to revisit a foundation that you had started to build, that you maybe had been seen by others, or that you had celebrated yourself for, because that could also be what the Six of Wands is, or that you'd wanted to be seen for. I often see this card come up when we are wanting to be seen as something. We are wanting credit for the work that we have put in from a place of passion. So this can be saying, like, I wanted to write a book for myself. That was a really great dream of mine. And maybe the book that you wrote didn't quite pan out the way that you wanted. Or maybe in the initial effort of starting it, you realized, wow, even though I wrote 500 pages, this just doesn't feel right anymore. And now it's saying, well, it doesn't mean you have to give up on your dream of writing a book. Maybe it's just time to give up on this idea and to go out there again with a more steady eye towards what you want. And that's going to allow you to really achieve this Four of Wands, and then to connect with others on this equal level, to really be able to go out into the world and connect authentically. That's really what the Two Cups is. It's the support around you, and it is authentic connection. So this is actually this can be a really powerful month for you, Virgo, in that you are kind of picking back up on a dream. You're not being asked to let something go. You're being asked to transform, I feel, your relationship to that, and to your relationship with how you connect with others in your life, and how you connect from what you truly want to be seen for doing, and the foundations that you want to create around that, and how you can build and share that with others. So this is a big It's a big vulnerable month. That's all I can say. We are moving from Gemini into, at the end of June, into the sign of Cancer, which Cancer is the sign that truly rules our emotional aspect to our experience. And so for some of you, you might be kind of moving out of the head, so to speak, from the mind, which is Gemini, and into your emotional side, and I could say heart, but heart really, focuses on the Leo energy. Cancer's really on the emotional component. So it's really about understanding the emotional side to your experience and understanding the importance of that any long-term goal that you have has to have that optimistic emotional tie that goes back to this heart's wish. Now, as your main point of challenge, actually, whoa, that came out kind of messy. Let's try that again. Okay, but that did not. So as your main point of challenge, we have the Eight of Swords, followed by the Seven of Swords. Very interesting. So when I was saying we're moving from the mind into the emotional side, you have all cups out here, but here your challenge is in your mind. So yes, the challenge is being able to move from the mind into the emotional into your emotional side. And that's really, I think, what's going to allow you to kind of jumpstart a heart's wish again. It's like something when we think about death, we can think about letting something die. And we can sometimes, when somebody seems to have died, we can kind of break out those jumper paddles and be able to bring them back to life with a jolt. And there's a little bit of that going on here. Now, with the Eight of Swords being in your main challenge position, the Eight of Swords is a card that speaks to feeling kind of mentally trapped. You don't see a way out. You don't see a way of how to do something. This could be where maybe you don't see a way forward to try this again. You don't see how you might be able to achieve that relationship that you feel is not there for you, that maybe you had invested emotionally in a partnership and it didn't work out, and you're like, well, I can't do it again. It's too much. There's no way. Or this can be where we don't see a way to try again at a passion project like a personal business, or even to rekindle the romance within a current relationship. That maybe you're sitting there saying, I don't see how this is even possible. Like, we've gotten so out of sync with each other that I don't even know how to connect. I don't even know how to plan for the future with this person, because I can't see out of this. And what's beautiful coming up directly after that is the Seven of Swords, which is where you get a chance to really see where you have been doing a little bit of self-sabotage, where you haven't wanted to see something within your own mental space, a way of where you've been blocking yourself intentionally. Because the Seven of Swords is where we are trying to kind of get away from seeing the truth. We're trying to get away from actually seeing the truth of the Eight of Swords, because the Eight of Swords comes after the Seven of Swords. There's this feeling of progression here of, okay, I'm trying to get away from something. I don't want to see something. I don't want to face something. And then you're stuck. And then you're just wandering aimlessly among your negative thoughts. And the beauty of the Eight of Swords is that when we can get to this place and realize it's just our thoughts, this is not set in stone. This is just where we have chosen to place our thoughts and the patterning that we have, and then we allow ourselves to kind of keep going in this specific mental pattern, meaning that we can get to a place where we have maybe gone through emotional wounding in the past. And so we tell ourselves, well, the next time I do something, I have to look at it from this way first, then that way, then this way, then that way. And so you've set yourself up to kind of put everything that comes in through kind of a mental gauntlet before it gets to the emotional side to your experience. And we can look at that as learning to, you basically being asked to take a look at how you have mentally programmed yourself. And if you can reprogram yourself this month, because that's what the Seven of Swords says, it's time to face something that you have set this programming in place for you to not see. And this can be the truth of something. When we think of swords, swords are not only our thoughts, but they are also the truth. And so there's an element here of not wanting to see the truth of a situation or the truth of why you don't want to go into the emotional space and why you've chosen to stay in the why you've chosen to stay in the mental and don't want to go into the emotional. So at the heart of your reading is the star. This is a beautiful energy to have at the heart of your reading. This is what Spirit is asking you to embrace to be able to overcome this challenge that you're facing. And the star is the energy of our greatest hope, dream, wish for ourselves. This is our guiding star that each one of us has unique to us. No two people have the same vision for themselves fully. And you're being asked to really embrace that. What is this for you? What is it that you want to be known for? What is it that you want to build a foundation on? What do you want to share vulnerably with another? What do you want to bring in for yourself that will attract that partnership that aligns with your star? And this is really going to help you kind of get back into that energy of realizing you don't have to give up on a heart's wish. Instead, it's time to transform that energy and to look at it from a slightly different perspective, which is when you can do that, you go into the Empress and the Ace of Wands. This is true creation energy. This could even be for some of you, very few of you, but I would say this is where you could actually, if you are trying to get pregnant, this is where you could conceive. But it's also where you get to conceive the new inspiration, the new idea, the new aha moment. The Empress truly embodies the feminine creative energy that we, from what we take in around us, have the ability to basically create what we want for ourselves. It's a beautiful energy of creation and building with the kind of divinity brought in there. And the Ace of Wands is that final aha. It's the idea, it's the inspiration, it's our eternal flame. It's that spark of our soul that is truly unique to us, but it is the start of that. It's like being handed the match to relight your flame or the paddles to kind of jumpstart who you are again. And this is actually coming up as your final challenge point, which, we would think about it is to, say, well, why would that be challenging for us? Wouldn't we want to embrace that new idea or that reconnection to a passion that ties directly back to that great hope and wish for ourselves? But where this can become scary is we understand that when we connect with that, we are going to ultimately feel something emotionally. We're going to have to realize that when we reconnect to our flame, to that passion that we have maybe been hiding, keeping that at bay because we are chosen to kind of go up into our mental space, then when we go back to this passionate place, it's almost like being afraid that fire might get out of control and that it might seem a little scary. It might actually have to mean that you have to jumpstart that emotional core of yours again and start feeling again. And that can be scary, especially when you've been hurt for a long period of time, or when you've been holding a wish for yourself very protectively, and now it's time you're being asked to bring it out openly, vulnerably, and with an eye to allowing what's in your emotional cup to water what you want for the future. There's a level of emotional investment that's coming through very strongly intuitively for me that you're being asked to commit to in a way, but through your own creative abilities. The Empress is that remembrance that we each have the ability to create what we want for ourselves, that we sometimes need to take a look at things from a slightly different perspective, meaning that when we think about feminine energy, this is yin energy, this is the receptive energy. This is where we take a look at what we are able to receive and take from our current experience and then bring that in to give birth to something new. And for some of you, this is exactly that you're realizing maybe you thought a dream was outside of yourself. And now it's time to realize you can make that dream happen for yourself. And that's the aha moment, that it isn't about finding the perfect business partner to make your business successful. It's about you realizing this is your dream for yourself. You want this. You want to be seen as the successful entrepreneur. Well, it's time for you then to go out there and become that, embody it. And that's where that reconnection comes from. That reconnection to your own spirit, that eternal flame. Or this can be where you all of a sudden realize, wow, I thought I had to wait for that perfect partner to come into my life. And I thought I had to give up on the dream of having that solid union with somebody else. But now I'm realizing, no, that's my dream. And I'm going to go out there and embody the other half of that perfect partnership. And that's where the aha comes in. That's where the engagement with, oh my gosh, I haven't realized how much I have disconnected from who I am, from who I've always wanted to be. And this is saying, well, go out there and be that version of yourself with the eye to the future, with the eye to not giving up on your dream, but allowing the other person to come into it organically and naturally. This can be a very pivotal month for you, Virgo, in that for some of you, it is almost like getting back up on the horse, so to speak, and to be seen again, to putting yourself out there and saying, this is what I'm going for, and I'm going to make it happen for myself. Okay, so now I'm going to pull some cards here for the concept of curiosity, courage, and contemplation. So we're going to get additional information and insight from Spirit as to where to kind of leave yourself open to for the miracles to come in, where to be courageous in taking action, and then a point of reflection and contemplation. So for this first card here, we're looking at the concept of curiosity, and this is where Spirit would like you to stay open and curious for the remaining month of June as to really opening yourself up to a miracle or the divine help that wants to come in and really allow you to embrace that heart's wish again, that dream for yourself. And that's where I think for some of you that spark, that aha, that inspiration is going to come in. So let's see here. What does Virgo need to know about where to stay open and curious? Oh, I love it. Cornucopia. So this is a card of abundance. It's number 11, master number 11, which is us being able to walk through that doorway between here and Spirit. And I like to call it where we get a chance to really take what is and to elevate it to what it can be when we decide to have faith in Spirit and we decide to co-create on that level with full trust that abundance is coming towards us. Now, where I would say we can ask that question of being curious for ourselves from this month is really, what would it take to make you feel abundant in your current life experience? Where do you feel that when we think about having to kind of go back into our emotional state, where do you not feel this level of abundance? And where are you perhaps, with the Seven of Swords coming in, where are you trying to prevent yourself from seeing that? I get this feeling is almost for a lot of you, you have a lot of abundance in some aspect of your life and you are almost turning your back on it. And that this, through whatever you have in abundance, this is where the miracle is trying to come forward, where the miracle is trying to come in to allow you to become abundant in another area that I think you don't feel abundant in currently. So this is kind of opening yourself up to taking a look at what you have in abundance and allowing yourself to be curious about how, in kind of accepting that and working with that abundant side to your life, how you can actually bring in a heart's wish, an emotional connection to something that you want to grow in another aspect of your life. So this could look like maybe you really want that amazing relationship, but instead you're so focused on, you're so focused on that relationship that you don't have that relationship. And yet on another level, you're really abundant physically in your life. Maybe you have a lot of savings in the bank, you have a beautiful home, you have a kind of lavish lifestyle that you live. And you end up, people would look at it and say, wow, you're very abundant. Like, just enjoy that. Why are you so focused on having this relationship? Just enjoy what you have. Now, obviously, that's not for another to say, why can't you just enjoy what you have? Because there is something here that ties directly to your greatest hope, wish, dream, something that is unique to you that needs to be fulfilled. But what you could look at is to say, well, maybe I need to just enjoy a little bit of that. Maybe I do need to book that vacation. I do need to start utilizing my savings in a way. Maybe the dream is to buy a home and to have that perfect partner come in. Well, maybe now is the time that even though the perfect partner isn't here, you can utilize the money to buy that home and to start getting it ready in faith that the perfect partner will then come in. There's a little bit of that coming through here. Or maybe this is vice versa. Maybe you have a loving, supportive family or a beautiful relationship, but you're so focused on wanting to have that 100 grand in the bank, or you really want that home, or you really want something on that level. And yet you have a beautiful supportive partner who's every day saying, well, sweetheart, like, you just do you. Like, if you want to go back to school, if that's going to help you in your work efforts, or I have some money set aside if you want to try that business again. And you're sitting here kind of turning your back on that. Like, oh, I don't know. Like, gosh, if only I had that money, if only I had that career path. And yet you have an abundance someone who really wants to help you with that, and that actually you can end up bonding more closely with the person in your life, that by bonding with them, maybe they'll have an idea that comes in that is the aha moment of like, oh my gosh, I never thought about it that way. And suddenly you have a fresh perspective. There's a little bit of that coming in here with, when we think about miracles and being curious and opening ourselves up to something, to say, how am I maybe not using what I have in abundance to help fulfill another area where I don't feel abundant? Okay, so let's take a look here now at where Spirit would like you to be courageous and taking action. So what Spirit would like you to be aware of here? It says, surrender to the wisdom of your body. It says, listen to your body's messages about a person or a situation. If you feel physically drained or uncomfortable, be cautious. If you are energized and happy, move forward. That's a beautiful thing to keep in mind as you're taking action, because when we think about emotional connection, an emotional connection to a great heart's dream, wish for ourselves, that star, that guiding point, you're going to want to use your emotions. And that's also what Cancer teaches us as a sign, how to utilize our intuitions, how to really feel into something. And that is what this card embodies, is that it's really about using yourself as that kind of human compass. Which way do I go? And this can help you guys, that as you're trying to kind of get in out of this place of kind of mental stagnation and a little bit of this avoidance behavior, where you've been holding yourself back from really embracing what you want at the core of who you are, what you want to be seen as, what you want to be known for, what you want to be known for building and creating and sharing with others, that this is really that point of saying, okay, if I really, want to get past this point of avoidance, and I want to reconnect to this heart's wish for myself, then if I do X, Y, and Z, how does that feel? Does it feel right? Does it feel good? Or is there another way that I can do this where I'm actually, it's going to even be when maybe you're going into work and you're realizing, God, every time I go into work, I feel stressed. I feel upset. I feel like I don't want to plan for the future, because ultimately my heart's dream is I want to have my own business. I want to be my own boss. I want to have a business that's centered around X, Y, and Z. And this is that compass of saying, well, then what it's time to move away from, and where it's time to start refocusing your energy. And you may not have wanted to see that this going to your 9 to 5 was draining you in this way. And maybe you were like, well, it keeps putting money in the bank, putting money in the bank, putting money in the bank. But in reality, it's robbing you of being able to pursue and realize your dream for yourself in the physical. So, keep that in mind as you're going through. The month is just really focusing on yourself. How do you feel at any given moment? And when we're thinking about you moving into your emotions, this is a month to do that, a month to really just kind of get out of your head, and in that moment be like, well, how do I feel? What's my body telling me? Do I feel tense? Is my heart rate up? Am I grinding my teeth? Am I slopping over in my chair to where my back is hurting? It's one of those things where it's really realizing that sometimes how we feel in our body really represents how our spiritual side to our experience is trying to come through and say, like, don't forget about me. This is why you have a headache every day for the past 2 months, is because you're not happy in this aspect of your life, or you've told yourself it's not possible for you, and it is. So let's see here. What does Spirit want you to know about where to reflect and contemplate on? Ooh, kind of your overarching point of reflection, your message. Oh, I love it. It says the initiation, rite of passage, crossing the threshold. And I love this card in that it appears again like somebody's been walking through darkness for so long, and then suddenly they see that opening into this almost surreal, beautiful land, probably their version of heaven, what they've been searching for, and here it is. So the point of reflection is to keep that in mind. Maybe you had to go through a little bit of this kind of walking through the darkness to reconnect to your own inner light, your own ability to create for yourself. And it's time now to go out as the hopeful romantic, to go out and utilize your own energy to plan for that, for what you wanted for yourself and what you want to be known for, how you want to connect with others as. It's a beautiful energy. So really focus this month on getting into your body, focusing on your emotions. The second you start to kind of go down that worry wart in your mind of like, but I can't, and it's going to take too long, and I already did that, and it's time to realize that that is an avoidance pattern. That level of anxiety and kind of overthinking is actually robbing you of getting into your emotional core of saying, I'll never be happy unless I have this, and I know it. That's why it's a great hope, dream, wish for myself. That's why it's directly tied to my ultimate star. And I have to allow myself to feel that and allow myself to realize I have everything needed to create that for myself. But I needed to be able to see that. I feel like a lot of you have been going through a process of coming back into contact with your own creative ability for yourself and really healing that mother energy, that feminine archetypal energy of being able to receive, but also being able to create. Okay, so now, normally I would end the reading here and there would be a link to the extended below, but as a thank you so much for being patient, and my apologies again for the lateness of this reading, I'm going to go ahead now and do what I would normally do in the extended, is start to pull clarifiers for these cards, and we'll get additional, more specific messages as they come in. So I'm first going to pull some cards here for the Eight of Swords. So we're going to see kind of where this mental block is coming from, this patterning that Spirit is asking you to take a look at. So what does Virgo need to know about the Eight of Swords? So we have the Seven of Wands and the Six of Cups. Okay, so this is defending something from the past that you had emotionally been connected to. So for some of you, there's something here where you can't quite get past something that either happened to you in the past or that you were emotionally connected to. This could be that you're sitting here saying, yes, but I really wanted this from the past. I really wanted to make that happen. And I have to keep kind of defending it. I have to keep working towards it. I have to keep, and this is where it's almost like you get into this place of, yes, we need to connect to a past part of ourselves. You know, this can be where we're actually getting a gift from ourselves in the past, but it's almost like where we're so focused on a specific way we had seen this manifesting for ourselves in the past that we are too focused on a past version of ourselves instead of bringing this kind of emotional connection point forward into the current experience to say, okay, you know, what I wanted then, when I pull this emotion forward into the now, how can I experience what I had wanted, but perhaps see it manifest in a different way? So this can be like where maybe you had this dream for yourself of being you wanted to write the great American novel and you were so focused on writing this great American novel and you put all of your hope and money and efforts into it and you kept defending it and you're like, but I have to write this great American novel, and it didn't quite manifest. And so you're like, well, I guess it's just not meant for me. I guess I can't write the great American novel. And where you're trapping yourself from realizing the dream of that you want to be known for being a famous writer. You want to be known for writing something that is going to be of importance, that is going to, when you think of writing the great American novel, what that means is the great work that generations to follow will continue to read, something that really is going to stand the test of time. This is not just a little piece of fiction that maybe will only be read now and not further down the line. This is that piece of work that really states who you are and will continue almost like a work of art to grow. But this is now where you've trapped yourself from wanting to pursue this dream again because you've said, well, I guess the great American novel is just not going to happen. And I still want to write that great American novel, but if it's not going to be the great American novel, well, then I'm not going to go for it. And this is saying, well, it's time to revisit the dream, the star, revisit it in a more broad perspective of what do you want to be known for? You want to be known for writing an important piece of writing, of fiction, of a novel. But maybe there's another way that you can go about getting that recognition of being able to write something of importance. This is where we can hold ourselves back from realizing, well, actually, maybe I could, so looking at the great American novel, maybe I just need to instead write something that's just inspiring to me. Like instead of just focusing so much on it has to be this, that then we kind of rob ourselves of getting into the emotional side of remembering it's just fun to write. And why don't I just write about something that's just fun for myself right now? Why don't I just start writing a journal? Why don't I just start trying my hand at different mediums in writing? Maybe I'm going to write a script. Maybe I'm going to write poetry. Let me just get back into connection with what I originally had here, which was that emotional connection to writing, to being known for being a writer. And so now it's kind of allowing you to be able to kind of push past that, but it has to be this way. And to realize maybe you're going to be known for writing a blog instead of the great American novel, but that blog is going to open you up to being known on another level to where what you speak about can change the face of generations to come. And again, it's opening yourself up in a slightly different way to letting loose a specific vision you held for yourself around something that you emotionally connected to in the past and allowing that to kind of dissolve. And that's where you're going to have the aha moment come forward. That's where you're going to be able to see like, wow, in my mind, I've been holding myself back from actually pursuing this because I haven't been able to allow myself to see it in a different way, to allow myself to pull this emotion into the present and to really make use of my current experience. You've gone through a rite of passage for a reason, and it was to unlock something about who you are. It was to unlock wisdom, knowledge of lessons learned, knowledge of interacting with the world. And now how can you engage that with the emotional side tied to this hope, dream, wish for yourself? Okay, let's take a look at Seven of Swords, where you are kind of in an avoidance pattern, what you don't want to see. Oh, I love it. The Queen of Wands. You don't want to see your own kind of magical ability. The Queen of Wands is someone who I always like to say is like the witch in the tarot. She's the one who understands how to wield her passion. She holds the Ace of Wands, and she understands that she can create for herself through her own internal magic what she wants and where she wants. And so for some of you, you have been turning your back on your own internal ability to create through your own magic. So I'm going to pull some additional clarifiers for the star around what Spirit's asking you to embrace and remember, which is that great guiding hope and dream for yourself. And for some of us, I'm just going to put this out here, Virgo, like don't be ashamed if that great dream for yourself isn't something that is altruistic or meant to help others. Maybe that great dream or wish for yourself. Okay, so there's a lot that's come up, but I'll take them all. Maybe that great dream, hope, wish for yourself is literally to make a bunch of money and to be incredibly wealthy. Virgo, you are a sign that is a very service-oriented sign, a very selfless sign. And I think sometimes when we kind of come from that energy, we can almost not want to realize our own ability to create and do and manifest for ourselves, because it can come across as selfish. Like, oh, I mean, if I want this for myself, well, then it's not me being my altruistic, service-minded self. This is just me wanting comfort and happiness and joy. And it's like, you know what? Or recognition. And you know what? That's totally fine. That's what Spirit's asking you to say is, whatever that hope, dream, wish for yourself is, don't turn your back on it. And no, it's not selfish to want success, to want fame, to want recognition for a job well done, or to want, more of the comforts that come when we follow things of passion, which are money, which are an elevated living status. So don't give up on a dream or want to turn your back on a star, your own magic, just because you feel maybe that it is selfish. Now for the star, we have the Sun. We have the Emperor, we have the Queen of Coins, and we have the Empress. So the Empress is coming up here again. The Sun is a card of illumination. And for some of you, this is an illumination around Emperor energy. And I love the Emperor card in this deck because it shows an individual who is kind of breaking out of the box, breaking out of the mold. He is looking at the box and realizing, well, gosh, I can see it in a new light when I hold it up in a different way. It's being able to see something in a new light. And the Emperor card is also one of realizing we are the Emperor in our own lives. And I love that you have the Emperor and the Empress here with the Queen of Coins in between, because this is a match. This is bringing in and balancing both the feminine and the masculine energy of our experience, of the ultimate ability to create in our life. And this is the illumination of that. This is being able to see where you need to bring in some more masculine energy and also where you need to be more receptive, and balancing those both within you, because in the middle of that is the Queen of Coins, and the Queen of Coins is the true feminine archetype. This is the mother card. This is the mother who knows where to focus her energy, knows the time it will take to nurture a seed into full fruition, meaning she is the one who will see that this is her child, and she understands the long-term vision. She understands that through focused, dedicated energy, this is what she wants to grow for herself. And this is nestled in between the Queen, or the Emperor and the Empress. So for some of you, this could actually be where maybe that star is about building something with another and realizing, oh my gosh, this is what I want to nurture with a partnership in my life. Or this is where you realize the illumination is where there has been an imbalance here on one side or the other between your masculine or feminine energy and what you truly want to mother into existence for yourself. Okay, now I'm going to pull clarifier for the Empress and then clarifier for the Ace of Wands, and then we'll pull some additional cards here. So, what does Virgo need to know about the Empress? Okay, so we have the King of Swords and the Three of Coins. Okay, so the Empress, King of Swords is someone who can see things fairly. It's telling the truth. So there's something here about being very truthful and honest about what you want to build for yourself and with others. And I think that that's a beautiful energy to have with the Empress, because this is a very kind of direct approach to understanding this is my truth. This is it's almost like stating it like this is how it is. This is the state of things. And this is what I ultimately want to build. This is my long-term vision. This is what the Knight of Pentacles is going out to help seed and lay the foundation for, which is the Three of Coins. And with the Empress, this is realizing, kind of admitting to yourself, this is what I want. And then ultimately, what is this Ace of Wands? What is this aha, this inspiration, this reconnection to passion? We have Six of Coins. Okay, so that's a kind of a return on your investment. That's a balancing card. That is where we get kind of what we put in. We also realize that sometimes it's that balancing energy of realizing that sometimes we have to be on the receiving end of things and sometimes we have to be on the giving end of things. All right, let's take a look here and see. I want to get an additional card here. But I do love that the inspiration is a card of balance. And Four of Cups. Okay, so Four of Cups is a card where it's a card of kind of being a little, it's like where we're a little unhappy with what we have. We're looking at everything in front of us, everything that's in our experience, and we're realizing that doesn't emotionally fulfill me, and that doesn't emotionally fulfill me, and that doesn't emotionally fulfill me. But what we realize in this card is that the fourth cup is the cup that's off to the side, and that's our cup. That's the cup that we always bring to the table, the cup that when we understand what's in that cup, which is unconditional love for ourselves and all of our uniqueness, what will emotionally fulfill us, which are our needs, our dreams, our wants, that it isn't about us looking externally to ourselves in our environment and hoping that those things should fulfill us. It's that we look to our own cup to see how we can fill and become emotionally connected to what is currently in our life. And we can forget that. We can get to this place of kind of disappointment and almost like when we're waiting, like, well, how come nothing feels fulfilling to me? And it's saying, because you're not emotionally connected. You're not emotionally connecting yourself to it. You're not bringing your cup to the party. You're denying love for yourself, love, and also denying what you truly need. And there is with the Six of Coins and the Four of Cups, there's this element of balancing something out in the physical to be able, I think it's kind of seeing where there needs to be a balance and where you have not been connecting. It's like that aha moment of, oh my gosh, I've been so emotionally disconnected for so long that I haven't even realized that something's balanced out here. I haven't realized that I actually have more than enough, that I maybe have been sitting kind of in a place of kind of lack or a poverty mindset, and suddenly I'm realizing, wait a second, I have enough. And I have gotten back what I've put in, but now what I really need to put in is myself, my emotional investment. It's time to stop focusing on everything that isn't working in my external environment, pick up that cup and go on the road. This would almost be like the energy of a, performance artist, let's say somebody who is in a band or something like that. And they're sitting there at home going, gosh, my house is boring. My neighborhood sucks. I've gone to see every Netflix show that there is, and none of this is making me feel good. I have dinner with my partner every night, and I'm just bored. And it's like realizing, but what's in your cup, what you really want for yourself is to be out there performing, singing songs for other people to see. And you can simply just decide to take you and say, hey, I'm going to go on a tour. I'm going to start sharing this part of myself again with others. And it can be as simple as that. It's not looking to say, well, my partner needs to fill this void for me of wanting to sing. Your partner can't sing for you. Just like your home can't be the stage that you desperately want to sing from. It's that you have to go back out there, and you have to go back out there with yourself and make that dream happen for you. Go out there to find that, to build it. Okay, now I'm going to actually pull some additional cards here. So we're going to get some points of advice for the cornucopia cards. So we're going to see a little bit more about what you should know about possibly kind of an area of abundance that you have in your life where there is a miracle that's trying to come in, where Spirit's trying to really kind of sneak in here. So we have 3 cards that came out. We have Rhino Spirit. It says overcome any obstacle, number 50, breaking down to a 5, the number of change. We have Whale Spirit, trust the great mystery, number 65, also breaking down to master number 11. And then we have Crow Spirit, co-create with Spirit, number 17, breaking down to an 8, which is the number of personal empowerment and empowered leadership. So there is something here around, I think, whatever you want to create for yourself in an area where you feel if you could elevate your life experience between what is now and what it could be, meaning if you could open that door and suddenly you are walking through your own vision of heaven into what what you're dissatisfied with your life now, what you want. Like if you want to open that door and you're on stage singing for the world to see, well, then it's time to realize you have to, it's on you to overcome the obstacles preventing you from going out and singing on stage for the world to see. And the trusting the great mystery is to trust that what's led you up to this point was something that was needed, that your whole initiation was to get you to this point of realizing this is what I want for myself. But now I have the tools. I have more of myself, more understanding of myself to better go out and share this part of myself that I desperately want to emotionally connect to. And then co-create with spirit. Always keeping in mind that spirit is with us. That's why I like to say that the master number 11 is when we realize we need to co-create with spirit, when we need to be in constant awareness of our spiritual side to our experience, that there is more to life than just what we can tangibly touch, that there is kind of this magic underlying everything that we do, and that when we really have an eye to stepping up into the highest version of ourselves, that is when we are co-creating with spirit. That is when we are being courageous and taking action, when we are following our hearts and we are doing so from a place of true faith that this is meant for us. Okay, I'm going to pull an additional card here. I want to see what's going on with the initiation. So let's see what else Spirit would like you to know about the initiation. And we have Chameleon Spirit, act as if. Number 14, breaking down to a 5, also the number of change again, which I love because when you think about a chameleon, that's what the chameleon is constantly doing. It's constantly changing itself to fit into its environment. So there's something here about, I think, really understanding that for some of you, you may feel like maybe you're not ready to go into that beautiful world, that maybe you do want that business or you do want to be on stage, but you're like, but people will see me as a fraud. I haven't practiced my instrument in 25 years, or I want to be famous for being a great designer, but I actually have never sold a single thing I've done, a single thing I've created. And it's saying, this would almost be like being able to see, the party of all of your favorite designers in one place, and you're being told, okay, it's time to go in there and share your work, share what you've designed, and now it's time to just live in there. And you're like, but wait, I'm not actually a designer. I haven't actually done anything. And if I go in there, they're going to all see me as a fraud. And this is saying, no, this was meant for you. Whatever's in your heart of hearts that you want for yourself, that you feel like you almost had to give up on, it's meant for you, and it's time for you to go for it. And it's time for you to walk fearlessly, to really embrace how long you maybe have walked in the darkness, or how long you have been kind of not living in the experience you desperately want for yourself, and to allow yourself to just act as if you're already there and realize you have this beautiful ability to go in and naturally acclimate to this because it was meant for you. Okay, so now we're going to get into pulling some cards for the energy of love. So let's see what Virgo has to expect around the energy of love for the month of June. What are you guys dealing with for romantic love? What does Virgo need to know about romantic love for the month of June? What does Virgo need to know about romantic love for the month of June? You guys are very tight-lipped, apparently, in the energy of love. What does Virgo need to know about the energy of love for the month of June? Oh, interesting. So it says, let go of control issues. Allow this situation to unfold naturally. So for some of you, this may be in romantic, for the romantic side of yourself, you may be maybe focusing on trying to control something in your relationship. Maybe you're trying to control the other individual. Maybe for some of you getting into a new relationship, you're trying to control the pace at how fast this relationship goes. And this is really just saying, Spirit's asking you to really just let go. It's I think there's an element of divine timing that's kind of coming through here. The Eight of Cups is also a card of walking away when we realize that something is no longer emotionally fulfilling to us. I'm just going to get, now we also have the King of Wands. The King of Wands is a card of Leo again. So for some of you, you may be walking away from a Leo, or you are maybe realizing with the King of Wands too, the King of Wands is kind of the CEO energy. This is the energy of someone who takes, it's a kind of a fiery individual, truly takes action from a place of passion. And you may feel like you're kind of walking away from, I think, maybe this energy within yourself. This kind of, let me just see if there's anything else wants to come out here before I... What does Virgo need to know? Okay, and the Queen of Swords. Oh, and the Five of Wands. Okay. So with the Eight of Cups and the King of Wands, this is a little bit of that energy of either walking away from a Leo in your life, or, you know, you're thinking about walking away from someone who embodies that energy. They're a very fiery, passionate person. And it's almost like maybe you've been trying to control somebody who harnesses that energy in your life, and it's time to just let it go. If you don't feel emotionally connected, if you're truly listening to your body and this person makes you feel kind of like, ugh, you know, I don't want to be around them. You know, when we're thinking about love, it doesn't always have to be an actual romantic partner. This could actually be a very close friendship. This could be close business partnership. So for some of you, this may be trying to almost control another person's fire, or trying to control somebody in your life who harnesses that energy. This could be trying to control a boss, trying to control anyone who really is working with their passion. And this is saying it's fine to walk away if that's how you feel. It's fine to kind of let this go. You don't have to go back and try to change the person, or, you know, it's almost like that understanding of, you don't have to go and say, this is what's wrong with you and this is why I'm walking away. It's almost like just saying, you can just walk away. You can just release it. Just let it go. With the Five of Wands and the Queen of Swords, there's an element of understanding, I think, where you've allowed a little bit of chaos and competition to kind of creep into your life, and where it's time to, the truth of that, to see how far you've come, how you've kind of maybe even had your own hand a little bit in the chaos in some relationship going on, you know, whether it's a romantic partner or not, and where you can, it's time to let that go. Sorry guys, hold on one moment. Sorry guys, I had to turn off my phone there. So for some of you, this is kind of seeing clearly where I think you've had your hand a little bit in the chaos, where perhaps things have gotten a little messy, and realizing, kind of taking away lessons learned from that, realizing how, you know, what's great about the Queen of Wands is she understands what she's capable of. She understands what she knows about herself. So this could even be too, or maybe, you know, in going through this strife a little bit, it's made you understand your own competitive ability, that there's something about yourself that you kind of unlocked about your own passionate nature. And you're realizing now that that is part of your story, of how you kind of overcome perhaps, you know, working with others, or being in a maybe more of a push-pull kind of dynamic in a romantic partnership, and realizing, you know, I can let that go, but also realizing truly what you're capable of. This can almost be like when you're thinking about kind of jumping back into the action, and in your own mind reflecting on the past, the lessons you've learned, what you're capable of, and kind of allowing yourself to realize, I become stronger for this. You know, going through a little bit of this kind of messiness has allowed me to really understand something about myself that is key and really ties directly to my truth and what I'm capable of. Okay, so I'm going to pull an additional card here. So for some of you, it's about just kind of allowing, I think, something to, again, when it says naturally unfold, there's this element of kind of walking away from the chaos, walking away from maybe trying to control another person, control a situation, and just realize that, you know, the only person you can control is yourself. And if that means that you have to walk away, then that's what you get to do. That's how you control your side to the experiences, that you get to walk away from them. And you don't have to be a part of the chaos. You don't have to get dragged back into an environment that feels kind of a little all over the place. All right, let's see. What else does Virgo need to know about the energy of love for this month? Oh, that's too many. What does Virgo need to know about the energy of love? If a card doesn't come out automatically, I might just pull one. Let's see. Oh, so many keep trying to come out. One or two, please. There we go. Okay, so we have honesty is essential. Speak with love and truth. Number 38, also breaking down to master number 11. So for some of you, there might be something here where, when we think about control issues, for some of you, you might actually be, sometimes when we don't share the truth with somebody, we don't tell somebody, what's really bothering us about how they're affecting us specifically, or we don't share something about our own experience that we really want to share, we do so because we're actually trying to control the outcome. We don't want to share something with somebody because we don't really want their response. We don't want their reaction. This is like when we anticipate sharing something with somebody and we think it's going to throw the situation into chaos. Or this is where we really want to walk away from something that no longer emotionally fulfills us, but we don't actually want to say that we want to walk away from something. And so this is really saying when we think about maybe not sharing as a means of trying to control somebody, this is saying that no, it's time this month in love to be honest. Honest with both the other person and with yourself. So to really speak with love and truth back to yourself. If there's something here that, if you're thinking about, wanting to control an outcome, and maybe let's say this is maybe walking, maybe you want to walk away from a current job to go back into trying to fulfill your dream of writing again. But you are too afraid to tell your significant other that that's what you want to do, that's how you're feeling. Then that can create a level of chaos because your actions aren't aligning with your emotions, with what you truly feel you want for yourself. So you may be coming home every single day frustrated and angry and bitching about your job. And your partner's like, gosh, she's so negative, or he's so negative. I don't understand why all of a sudden, like, they come home and they're just constantly upset, constantly unhappy, constantly, not, all they want to do is kind of complain about their job. And they don't realize that it's because deep down, you don't want to be in your job anymore. You want to move towards something else. And that if you would simply allow yourself to be honest with your partner to say, look, this is actually why I'm feeling frustrated at work, because I don't want to go to that place of work anymore. I really want to write. And to brave the fact that if the person truly does love you, they will have that open, honest communication, to give them the faith and confidence you have in spirit and put that into them as well, to say, allow them to have a say. That if they say, well, that is a little hard for me to hear because the last time you tried this, it didn't work out and we went into debt, and to allow them to say that. And then for you to come back again and say, I understand your fears. But this is where this emotional connection comes from. This is that lesson of saying, I know that, but this is my hope or dream. And this is what I feel I really want to go back for. This is what I want to be known for. This is what I want to work towards. So how can we create an environment where this can start to happen? And it could be something as simple as, no, maybe it's not realistic for you to walk away from your 9 to 5, but maybe it is realistic that your partner now is the one that put the kids to bed so that you have an extra hour alone at night to start working on your writing again. Or this is where you and your partner take a look at your finances and realize maybe you can take a little bit of a financial hit and you can go down to part-time so that you can fill your other part of the time with writing. It's something along those lines of where instead of trying to control what the other person is saying or feeling, you just come from a place of honesty and allow that to shape what happens next, but not allowing yourself to give up on a hope or dream. And to be honest with yourself that you also really want this for yourself. That's part of when we share from that place and we share from that faith in spirit, when we co-create with spirit, we realize we don't have these hopes, dreams, wishes for ourselves for no reason. They are part of what we are meant to express and experience. So to be honest with ourselves on that level too, that no, this is what I really want. Beautiful. Okay, so now I'm going to pull a final card here for the overall spiritual lesson that you're learning. This is the overarching message. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to read the full excerpt from the book as your final takeaway for this month. So let's see what Virgo needs to know about the spiritual lesson they're learning for themselves this month. Okay, so we have trust in the plan, number 13. I love that. Breaking down to a 4, which is the number of, it's interesting because actually the death card in the tarot is a number 13. It's a number that harnesses the energy of Scorpio, death and transformation, but also the building of a firm foundation. And I like that it's trust in the plan, because I get that really coming through strongly in your reading, is that there's an element of trust, trusting in your partnership, trusting in others when you are sharing vulnerably, trusting that what you want for yourself is actually something that needs to be expressed, is actually something that can provide abundance for yourself, and that trusting that you are meant to be there. You are meant to achieve this for yourself. So let's go ahead and read trust in the plan. It says, in preparation for radical growth, there can be temporary disorder and chaos. While the mind may worry that something is going wrong, the spirit knows that this is a way for the old to disassemble so the new can be formed. Although you may feel out of control during such times, you do not need to resist the process. There is no need to attempt to impose your own sense of order upon the greater plan. You do not need to seek solutions, for there is no problem here in need of solving. What has been is being cleared away in preparation for the next chapter in your life. Have faith, all is well. Do not fear. You may see the life you have known appears to be ending. You may find that the things you used to do or the way you used to think no longer seem as relevant as they once were. You may feel your relationships and friendships are changing. Some may even be ending. Perhaps you find you no longer have the energy or motivation to keep certain relationships going in your life. However, your energy is meant to be withdrawing from what it once supported. This is not an abandonment or betrayal. It is not selfish. It is honest. When you trust in your spiritual growth, all that happens is love. That means that even an apparent loss always serves love. Sorry guys, whether that is immediately obvious or not. It is sometimes necessary for both parties to become free to live their true destiny. Life is a loving, creative journey for your soul. That means there will be times when the very thing you have worked towards needs to crumble so that the next evolution of your soul manifestation upon the earth can take place. It is natural, and although it can be challenging to trust in a greater creative process during times when it seems as though there is only chaos and confusion, you are strong enough spiritually to do so. To feel peace during such times, you must trust in your own inner knowing over what appears to be. You are divinely scheduled to evolve at this point in your life. Can you sense an exciting growth phase happening for you? There's another way for you to live, to be, to thrive and love in this world, and you are rapidly heading towards it. This is a time to surrender control and allow a higher power to direct your course. Many exciting new opportunities, situations, and connections will come into your life as a result of what you are experiencing now. It is all part of a greater divine intelligence unfolding in loving service to your own sacred life path. Have faith and stay true to your spiritual principles. Trust in an unfolding higher plan. Know that all changes in your life serve your higher good. The universe knows what you need and is in the process of delivering it to you now. All is happening for a greater purpose. You can flow with the changes in loving trust. Your perfect time for resurrection will follow this deconstruction, and it will occur in the perfect way. I love that. I love this for you, Virgo, because I do think that there is again, something that, and for some of you, you may fear leaving the darkness, not even to realize that you're heading very closely into this more suitable version of reality for yourself. And you may be kind of clinging to the old or afraid or trying to control what this will ultimately look like. And there is this level of just kind of giving into trust, giving into flow, giving into what you're feeling, and really bringing yourself into that place of emotional connection. And giving into the inspiration, the aha, the rekindling of your flame. And if you're feeling that, to follow it, to trust it. All right, Virgo, I really hope you have a wonderful rest of June, and I look forward to reading for you again in July. Bye.